Hello everyone, welcome to Digital System Laboratory Practicum. Today we will learn about VHDL or VHSIC hardware description language. Let's start with what is VHDL. VHDL is a very high-speed integrated circuit programming language, or we can call it simply VHSIC, which is developed by IEEE or Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. VHDL is a modeling language which is used to design or model a digital logical circuit. Two main implementation of VHDL is to FPGA or Field Programmable Gate Arrays and ASIC or Application Specific Integrated Circuit. In this practicum, we will use FPGA to implement the VHDL. The difference between VHDL and other programming languages. In other languages, the command is executed by orderly, from highest to lowest, while in VHDL the command is executed simultaneously, so the order doesn't matter in VHDL. The basic structure of VHDL. For example, here is the VHDL program. This one called library, and this one called entity, and last one is architecture. The first one is library. Library is the collection of parts that will be used in circuit designing. The program will take library as the base reference on executing command. If there is no library, then the program won't understand any command that you will type. The declaration will be like this: library name you will use library name, the package name you will use, the which package parts that you will use. The next one is entity. Entity is a list of ports that will be used in the coding process. In entity, we define the specification of the circuit we design, the ports, whether it's in or out, and the type of signal. Entity define the signal mode of a pin, whether it's in or out, and define the signal type of a pin, whether it's integer or logic or etc. The declaration will be like this: entity name is port 1 name or the variable, signal mode, whether it's in or out, and signal type, and entity name. The next one is architecture. Architecture defines the working process of the circuit. Basically, in architecture, you define how the circuit will work. The declaration will be like this: architecture, entity name of architecture name is begin. And in here, you will define the process and architecture name. Code description in architecture. The first one is component. Component is one part of the conventional code, such as the library, entity, and architecture. However, by declaring a piece of code as a component, then that part can be used on other circuits so that we can construct a hierarchical design. Component is also a way to partition and to reuse code. For example, the circuit which is often used as a flip-flop, multiplexer, adder, and other basic gates can be stored in the library. Thus, the project can use it without having to rewrite its code on its entirety. The declaration will be like this: component name is port name or the variable, signal mode, signal type, and component. And the initialization is label, component name, port map, and port list. The last one is process. Process is part of sequential code in VHDL. It is characterized by if, wait, case, or loop, and by a sensitivity list. Process must be installed in the main code and will be run every time when the condition is met. In one architecture, there can be one or more processes. The declaration will be like this: process, the variable or the condition, begin, and process. And that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching.